Me and my husband, we were not getting on. It was an arranged marriage, so we hardly knew each other when we got married.
I have not met the person before, and we were just introduced, and then we got married.
You know, it was like two strangers that was living together in the same house.
And we were quite frustrated, both of us, not only me, my wife as well, very frustrated, down, helpless, not knowing where to turn.
We had a daughter, so after she was born, things was pretty much the same and was going worse. And I remember it was that day that, you know, I just couldn't take it anymore. I was crying and I didn't know a way out.
I started being very sort of anxious as well, because she was in very much tears. I know that we have a big problem, but I was not realizing how serious, very serious it was.
We learned that we could get help for that. And we were attending a church and we decided that let's go and speak to the ministers there. We sat down and we were speaking like how things were. At the beginning it was like he's like that and she's like that, so both. But then through this session what I understood was that I should stop pointing finger at him, but learn to live with what we had.
I think this started breaking the selfish thoughts, the selfish ways. Gradually, you know, things started changing. You know, I started, you know, see even a small bit of, you know, of love started to, you know, to generate.
I can say now that the tears of sadness, of anxiety, has now been transformed into tears of joy.
Never thought that, you know, it will be transformed like this.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Finding Answers. Now, have you ever used the word impossible? Have you ever faced a situation in life, if not in the past, maybe now, right now in the present, where you say, you know what, to find an answer to this problem, what I'm going through, it's impossible. You find it very hard to find an answer, a solution to that area of your life where things are actually going wrong. Well, on tonight's program, the topic is overcoming the impossible. No matter what problem you are facing right now, at present, whether it's been going on for such a long time or not, you can overcome this problem. And we're going to show you the video, tonight's video now, to explain more about this. Stay tuned.
When seemingly impossible situations arise in our lives, you may find yourself saying, there is no way, I can't do this, or I can't handle this. These are the words of defeat and pessimism, and yet they are the words that many of us battle with from time to time. Perhaps you've lost a loved one and you can't imagine how you'll make it through. Maybe you've lost your job and the future looks bleak. Or maybe you've just been given some bad news from the doctor. Life may seem impossible right now, but you are able to deal with the things that you're experiencing. People who feel that their situation is impossible may contemplate suicide. They are preoccupied with the idea of leaving the bonds that bind them to other people, responsibilities to burdens, and just plain despair at what they can't change. Suicidal thoughts and actions are often heightened during times of strong impulses and low inhibitions. These times are exacerbated whilst using substances such as drugs and alcohol. If you're feeling that you're facing the impossible and you need help to overcome this extremely challenging time in your life, then why not pick up the phone and talk to one of our advisors on 020 7686 6300 or send us an email at help@findinganswers.tv. Alternatively, if you'd like to talk to us via social media, then send us a tweet. Just start your tweet with @FindAnswersTV or search for Finding Answers on Facebook.
There you go. There's the contact details if you would like to give us a call live tonight and share your views on tonight's program. All right. And also, I would like you to call in if you want to know what this is. This is a chain of prayer. And normally you hear people, there you go. Yep. Normally you hear people, and you will hear this on tonight's program. The guests that come on our program and talk about how they overcame problems in their lives. And the chain of prayer, you will hear them, 99, if not 100 times out of 100 saying, I did a chain of prayer. This is the chain of prayer card. And you can also give us a call now if you would like to know more information about doing a chain of prayer, about getting one of these. If you want to do that now, the number's on the screen. Give us a call and one of our advisors will be there right now to take your call and to explain in detail what the chain of prayer is. So please stay tuned, because during this program, you're going to hear a couple story how they had serious relationship problems in their lives before they got married. But when they got together, they did face some issues as well. And you're going to hear how they overcame those small issues as well. And today, they are happily married for how long now? How long has it been?
12 years now.
Charles turns to his wife and says, how long? 12 years, happily married now. And at the end of the program, in the last segment, we're going to have love experts, James and Helena, talking about 5 things every couple should know. As usual with me, it's Victoria. How are you doing, Victoria?
Very good, thank you.
Is your partner watching?
Probably not.
Not tonight?
No, he's a musician, so he's gigging probably.
He's gigging.
Yeah.
So, maybe you are here and your partner's next to you. Maybe they're out. Give them a call and ask them to tune in with you, because you're going to get some very important advice related to love life, related to relationships. So, Victoria, you've already given us the details. Mm-hmm. You've saved us time tonight, right?
Absolutely.
How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you.
Now, overcoming the impossible. In the psychology world, is there always an answer to everything?
Well,
can you overcome any kind of problem? I put you on the spot now, haven't I?
You did. That's quite an intense question. Well, you certainly can overcome situations that you may think are impossible. And psychologists have just discovered, as it were, there are 3 things that somebody, if they have each of these 3 things, then they are more likely to be able to overcome the impossible. And actually what they find is if you don't have these 3 things, then you're more susceptible to suicidal thoughts. So the first one that if you have, you are more likely to overcome the impossible is a perception that you're not alone. So if you have a family or a support network, then you're stronger psychologically and you're less likely to contemplate suicide. Now, the second one is a feeling of not being a burden. Now, one key factor to a reason that somebody might feel suicidal is because they feel like they're a burden and they would be better off, and everybody else would be better off if they weren't in the world anymore. And the final one is having a fear of death and pain. And if you have all 3 of these things, they are very strong psychological tools to overcome the impossible. And usually with those 3 things, people can be strong enough and overcome things.
Now, if you say that you are afraid of death, you feel as though you're a burden, and what was the other one? What was the first one?
A perception that you're not alone.
A perception that you're not alone. If you feel this way, then I can tell you, if psychology or anything else hasn't helped you, there is one person that can help you, and that is God. And that's why on the program we always say a prayer. And at the end of the program, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be praying for you, no matter your situation. So whether you can relate to the story tonight or not, it doesn't matter. We'll be praying for your need. All right? So give us a call if you want to pick up the line. If you want to call in and share with us your experience or add to the program in any way, then you can do so. All right? We're going to go for a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to meet tonight's guests, Charles and Daisy. We'll see you after this.
The pursuit of happiness. What will make you happy? Success? Fame? New shoes? Financial security? Love? Education? Independence? Family? Sometimes in the pursuit of things we think will bring us happiness, sometimes we fail to see that we aren't happy, or we never find it. We live in a world of people. Rather than pursue things to make you happy, what if we all worked to make each other happy? Wouldn't we all be happier?
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, if you just joined us, stay tuned because you're going to now meet a couple who had relationship issues. Now, before we meet them, I'd just like to say to remind you about giving us a call. If you'd like to give us a call, the number is on the screen. If you would like to talk to us, if you'd like to talk privately off air, or you want to add to the show by asking our guests any questions. So let's meet them now. Charles and Daisy.
It's pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Charles and Daisy, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So, overcoming the impossible. Now, both of you felt as though what you were going through, because you were married before or in a relationship before, you felt that it would be impossible to find happiness, right?
Yes.
So please, Daisy, let's start with you.
Yeah.
How was your relationship before meeting Charles? Were you married?
No.
You weren't married?
Yeah.
But in a long-term relationship?
Yes.
So tell us how that was.
Well, I met him while I was in uni studying, so we were together studying.
and I fell pregnant. And once I fell pregnant, the plan was like, we're going to get married, live together and all that. So I had to go home because I couldn't live in the uni with the child and stuff. So I went home, and then he finished university and he moved to a different city. Now,
by this time, did you have the baby?
Yeah, I have a baby already at home. And he moved to a different city because he finished studying. Now he's practicing what he was doing. So we were still talking, and the plan is to meet.
So hold on a minute. Were you actually together? Like, this is the father of the child, and we're together, but we're just separated for now, or?
No, when we were in uni, we were together. When I had a baby, I had to go home.
Right.
So we never actually kind of lived together, but we were in that relationship, working towards getting our own place and moving in together.
Right.
So he moved to a different city. So I said, okay, let me find a place to stay. And so I was planning myself to move. And one day my friend says, oh, I heard so-and-so has got a person. And I said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, he's living with somebody. So I called him, and he said, no, I'm not living with anybody. It's okay, you can come. So that I could go and meet him. But then it was so difficult for me because I didn't know now, okay, I'm going to meet him. What if there's somebody there? Then I said, okay, I will come. But deep down, I had my doubts and my thoughts. Then he will come, we meet, and he will come to see the child and go back to where he was working. So it was like a proper relationship for me because I was hoping to live with him.
How old were you at this time?
19.
Very young.
Yeah.
And you were still in uni?
I had to stop because I couldn't do the two. I couldn't look after my son and go to uni. So I had to stop uni.
Okay.
So I had to go back, and that's when I went home.
So you eventually went to meet him?
He was coming to see me.
Okay.
I didn't go to meet him because already I had doubt because my friend was telling me that he's living there with somebody. It was far from where I was. So if I would have to go there, if there's anything, I'll be stuck in a person with somebody inside there because already things were not going as it should. It was like, when you doubt that something is going on.
No, both of you teenagers.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
There was no commitment there.
No.
Right? The fact that you fell pregnant, probably he felt as though, okay, I can't just ditch you. There's a baby on the way. Some guys do. Yeah. But he thought, let me try and do the honest thing of sticking around.
Yeah.
So he came. He came down to meet you?
Yeah, nearly. I mean, every time he would come, we meet. And, oh, are you going to come? Yeah, I'm going to find. It's like he was telling me stories, but because I was so young, I believe him in everything he was telling me. So until one day I pick up the phone, and first of all, he didn't give me the phone number of his house.
Right.
I had the phone number from, his work, not his house. So
didn't that raise any suspicions there?
I think it was there, but I didn't want to believe it. Like that something is not right, but you just don't want to believe that it's actually happening.
Yeah.
So when I called the office, this friend of his, he said, oh yeah, he's gone home. His wife traveled and he's looking after the kids today.
His wife?
I nearly had the heart attack.
Right.
And this is something we are planning. Yeah, at that time when I found out, he had 4 kids.
Really?
And the wife.
And how old is he?
Well, he will be maybe 29 going, he's not 30 at that time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was already older than you.
Yes. It was a shock for me, I have to be honest.
So it wasn't hearsay from a friend. Now it was a work colleague who didn't know you who said he's away with his wife. So he can't hide anything now. No. It was all exposed.
Exposed now. And I think I was left shocked, bitter, and my self-esteem went down. I was thinking, what is this other woman has that I don't have? What is going on? And it was, I don't know how to explain, it was such a shock of betrayal that I've never felt before. And I was thinking, how could he do this? Even if it wasn't working, why could he not tell me?
How did you confront him?
I pick up the phone in the next day. Actually, he was told that I called, and the information was given to me. So he called me in an hour's time. I think his friend realized what he did. So in an hour's time, he called me, said, "Oh, no, it's not true." And I said, "What do you mean?"
Oh, that was the first thing he
Yeah,
said?
he said, "It's not true." I said, "What do you mean?"
That's a sign of guilt already.
Yes. And I said, "What is not true?" "Oh, whatever he told you." And I said, "Okay, so is it not true that you have a wife? It's not my wife, we have children, da, da, da." I said, "Okay. So it's not true that you have a wife, but you're living with a woman with the children." He said, "Yes." And at that time, it's like, for me, it was over.
Yeah.
It's over.
How did you feel regards to your love life, your relationship now? How did you feel? You said bitterness, but
I was
what else
very bitter. I never trust anybody. I had other relationship after him, but any time that the person feels happy, I would just break it up to feel what I'm feeling. I don't know if it makes sense. So I will go out with somebody, but as soon as I see this person is very happy, and I'm thinking, no, you can't be happy, I will just break it up, because I was still bitter.
Yes.
Still holding a grudge, still feeling like, how could somebody do this to me? I didn't know how to get back at him, because if I knew, I would have done it. But I didn't know how to get back at him.
So how many relationships after
I think I had two more boyfriends. Yeah, I had two more boyfriends. Before I decided, you know what, I just can't go through this.
You decided to stay single then?
Yes.
Now, did you feel then, after those two further relationships, did you feel as though, you know what, this is impossible, I'm never going to be happy in my love life?
Yes, because first of all, I felt like, who will want me with a child?
Right.
That was the first thing in my head. Who will want me with somebody else, child?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what if they do what he did? So those were the thoughts that was going on in my head, and I was thinking, what if they repeat what he did? What if, can I ever trust somebody not to do this? Will I be able to, go out with somebody or marry somebody or live with somebody without having flashbacks?
So you had this thought basically in your mind that out of all the men in the world that you could potentially go out with, everyone's the same. I would never find anyone.
I did that, yeah. Everybody will think that they're all the same, and I'm never gonna, and even the thought comes to me, if they do that, I would do the same.
Right.
You know, like if anybody cheat on me again, I will cheat on them.
So you were stuck in this rut.
Yeah, so I was like, really, the bitterness was so deep. I don't know how to explain. It was so deep that anything that, or anyone that will be with me and happy, it makes me angry. And I'm thinking, how can you be happy? I'm not happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's basically your story in a nutshell.
Yes.
Charles, over to you. Now, you were married.
Yes.
Right? Tell us how that came about, and what were the circumstances around you starting that relationship?
First of all, I look at it this way, like we had a close-knit family, and it's more of a polygamous, family. If I can say that, my dad had more than one wife, if you know what I mean. But then I never saw fights and things like that. But I wanted to be happy, not to have two wives, if you know what I mean. But I wanted to be happy, just to have a relationship. But then, as a young man, you end up playing around and just messing about until a sister of mine would say, it's time to settle. It's time to settle. Eventually, she introduced someone to me. In a way, I looked at that as arranged marriage, in a way, in the sense that I didn't really know her that much, but we just got together, and that's how the marriage happened. But then, once again, it wasn't much stability in that marriage, because most of the time she's back in Nigeria whilst I'm here. And then when we're together, it's just war.
So
just
was this like an arranged marriage?
I was listening to the arranged marriage, the one before the program when it started. Not mainly in that way. I was introduced to her, by
so there was
sister.
a pressure to kind of
I see that as a family pressure. And for me, it wasn't, I could have said no, but I just thought, okay, come on, let's give it a go,
So without kind of getting to know the person, in depth properly, see if they are marriage material, because of pressure from family, you decided to kind of push ahead and go with it.
Yes, let's go for it. So that's how I started. But
Now,
then,
because of just to cut you, because of tradition and background, you mentioned you're from Nigeria.
mm-hmm.
How old were you at the time?
At that time? I was just 26.
26.
So that pressure was
So
there.
some cultures, maybe Nigerian culture as well, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe that's too old already if you don't have kids by that time, if you've not settled down with
The pressure was there already.
married. So 26 years old, right? I know it's a big pressure with women, but 26 years old, you're single. Do you have siblings?
Yeah.
Were they married off already? most?
Siblings, younger sister had kids already. So it's that sort of
Your
thing.
younger sister.
Yeah, had kids. And so, you should be, And
So
it was
you were there together. You ended up getting married. Yeah? Now, how was it? How were things when you were married?
You can see the compatibility wasn't there. Even though, she was quiet, a bit respectful, but it just didn't click. There was arguments. The things she liked, I didn't like that much. But the one I couldn't live with are the arguments. I just couldn't imagine myself just going over issues over and over. So I wanted
what type of
peace.
things did you, I'm sure there were kind of small things in the beginning, but then it escalated. So what kind of things did you start to argue over?
It could be anything, just silly little things like, she wants to do this and no, I don't want to do that. You want to go here, I don't want to do that. And I, for one, I believe if I'm in a relationship, the two of us are more important than the family and the relatives. But rather, how I'm thinking is that your dad or my dad says this, so we should do that. But I'm saying, no, I think we should. This is our lives, so we should work together and go forward. So
the
things like
involvement,
that, I couldn't.
the pressure of the in-laws, say, or
Yes.
other relatives.
Yes, I couldn't take that. I mean, that's just not.
So you
something
kind of
I
lost
can-
that battle over, if I can say, control of your wife.
Yes.
Did she feel, did she feel as though she was in control in that relationship, in that marriage?
I wouldn't say she felt as if she was in control. I just was like, I knew where I wanted to go. I didn't want that. I just knew I didn't want that. I wanted to be happy. I wanted peace. The thing I can't handle is the arguments and things. I just wanted peace.
Didn't you see at that time that it was a mistake to rush into that marriage? No, while your parents were pressurizing you to get married, didn't you feel, you know what, we have to take our time. I have to get to know, or did you just kind of go into it?
Yes, I did. I didn't look at it. I just thought, okay, let's go for it. If I thought about it deeply,
Did you ever ponder, do you ever think, you know what, I've made a big mistake, or we've made a big mistake?
It got to a stage where I had to say, if we don't, we're going to have to break it up. If you don't listen, we have to break it up. And I knew that I had made a mistake at that time because it was constant argument. We couldn't go forward. We couldn't plan. We couldn't work things out.
How did you feel in that marriage?
To be honest, I just want to get out of it.
Really?
I felt like I had to get out of it. At the time, I had a business with a business partner, so we had a business we were running, and she knew all about it. She knew where it was and all that. But because I wanted to get out of that, I said to him, "Listen, I'll do you a deal. You take over the business. I'm just going to get away from here."
Really?
That was the plan.
Right.
So, I don't want any bit of the business. You go ahead, and then
It was so bad that you're ready to up and leave.
Yes.
So you see how relationship problems, if you don't get it right, it can affect other areas of your life as well. So you're ready to up and leave that business, probably years that you invested starting that business, making it work. Now you're telling your partner, look, take it over. I'm off. I need to, in other words, divorcing? Is that what you...
Yes.
You got to the point of, you know what, I need to divorce this woman.
Yes.
It's not working.
And the effect was such that I had to go, and I didn't think about this. If I thought about it, maybe I would have done something about my financial life, because I had to go and retrain completely, to start doing something completely new, because I was relying on the business, but I just wanted to get away.
Yeah.
I think when you feel trapped, You want to do anything just to get away from it.
Was that the worst point?
Yes.
Feeling trapped in that marriage?
Absolutely. I just wanted out. I said, look, anything else you take finance, I don't want the financial side, I just want peace. I just want to get out.
Okay. So look, you've heard this couple's story before, how they made wrong choices and how their lives ended up, their marriage or relationships ended up. We will go for a break soon, and you're going to hear how their lives changed. And it involved the chain of prayer. If you want more information on the chain of prayer, how to start one, what to do, then pick up the phone, give us a call, and our advisors on the other end of the line now, waiting for your call, they will explain to you what the chain of prayer is, how you can start it, what you can do. All right? So we're going to go for a break now. When we come back, we will hear how Charles and Daisy changed their life. And don't forget, in the last segment of the program, you're going to hear from love experts, James and Helena, on the 5 things every couple should know. We'll see you after this break.
What would you do if you had to protect a great treasure? If the answer is obvious when it comes to material wealth, it should be even more obvious when the treasure is greater: your marriage. In Bulletproof Marriage, the couple Renato and Cristiane Cardoso offer solid guidance to those who appreciate the value of their relationship and want to shield it against the risk of divorce. Besides their years of counselling thousands of couples, Renato and Cristiane present the hugely successful TV show The Love School, as well as marriage courses around the world. In over 2 decades, they have lived in 3 countries and have given hundreds of talks in more than 30 countries. Speaking from their long and sometimes troubled marriage experience, the couple offer practical tips to protect current and future relationships. To order your book online or for more information on the Love School event 2014, visit our site, theloveschoolevent.com. This event was brought to you by the UCKG Help Centre.
Are you a duck? What can it do? It swims. It walks. It flies. But does it do them all well? Yes, a duck can do all of the above, but it's not known for being great at any. So, are you a duck? Rather than attempting to do all things, why not be the best at one thing at a time? You will find you'll actually learn to be great at more things.
They say that home is where the heart is, a place that should be filled with joy, security, happiness and memories. However, sometimes our own blood is the cause of most of our pain. Before you lose hope, try this. Every Thursday, come and pray for your family and receive the guidance and support that could help you all reconnect again. After all, no amount of success can compensate for a broken family.
Introducing the Love Therapy website. Love Therapy can help you find true love and show couples how to enjoy happiness through a successful relationship. So why not click on the Love Therapy website for dynamic, interesting and useful tips on love. You can watch inspirational videos from happy couples sharing their experiences of maintaining relationship strength and find out when the Love Therapy meetings are. If you're looking forward to a first date, then the Love Therapy website has 5 tips for that all-important first date. And why not sign up for the Love Therapy newsletter to receive the latest news and events postings? All you need at your fingertips. The Love Therapy website.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Let's go now to our street interviews and find out what the general public had to say.
Definitely depression is probably number one.
They're arguing and they're talking negatively about each other.
What is more valuable than another? And so
you can have as many friends and families as you want. It just depends.
Is a common regret, like, oh, like I should have like asked that person out, or like.
Hi, I'm Chica on the streets of London once again for Finding Answers. Possible or impossible? When we're faced with situations, we have a choice to make. So I'm going to ask the public a series of questions and find out if they're possible or impossible. Let's see what they say. Taking back a cheating spouse.
Impossible.
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 Possible.
Possible?
Possible.
Not possible.
Well, it's possible. Happens.
Becoming extremely wealthy after facing bankruptcy.
Possible. That's happened too. That's possible.
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 Possible. Possible.
Possible.
Yeah, possible.
Recovering completely from a terminal illness.
Possible.
Possible.
I think it's impossible.
Impossible.
Possible.
Possible.
Possible. Yeah. Oh yes.
In the middle.
Possible.
In the middle.
Possible, why not? Yeah.
Well, by definition, if it's terminal, you can't recover from it. So, no.
That was different, wasn't it? What do you think? Can you come back from a situation where it seems impossible? Well, let's go back to our guests, Charles and Daisy, because they thought that where they were at that present time, it was impossible to ever be happy. So, tell us, Daisy, you felt alone, betrayed, you know what, you never ever be happy anymore. Mm-hmm. You decide to be single. Yes. How did things change? Because today you're married to your loving husband next to you. Yeah. What happened?
A friend invited me to her church, and when I went there, because remember that even though I felt all these things, but deep down I want to be happy. I didn't know how, and I think that's when I put that defense mechanism and say, I don't want to be with anybody, but deep down I wanted to be happy. Right. So when I went to the church, I met people, somebody spoke to me, but in there, all I could hear is a positive thing. All the things they were talking about, things can happen, you can do it, you can do it. And I was thinking, how? So I was able to kind of, through the chain of prayer, I was able kind of being advised and being directed on what to do. And bit by bit, I was following the instruction. And
what were you told? Because there are people at home who may be going through a similar thing as you are now. What advice did you get, and what did you do to practice it?
Right, is to use my faith, forgive the person who hurt me, which it was very difficult because you're told to forgive somebody you're angry with. And for me, that was the biggest obstacle. How can I forgive him? He's done this. How can I do that? So, and the minute I started using my faith, because it's not something easy to do. Right. So it's not something that you can do easily, say, okay, I'm going to forgive him and it's over. But it's coming to the chain of prayer, using my faith, listening to the word, how I was told what to do, and practice what I was told. Because a lot of things, when they said if you have a grudge or you have something in your heart, I never felt I have it. Okay. But then I started feeling, when I speak to him, I'm angry and I'm holding things. That's when I realized, no.
So basically, to nutshell, you had to go and contact him or see him?
Speak to him and feel how it is so that I will know it's over, or I don't have anything in my heart.
So you're free from that?
Yes.
And how did you feel afterwards, after doing that action?
I think that's when I started feeling like I want somebody.
Right.
And I started brighten up and hoping and fighting to get somebody.
Okay.
Yes.
Brilliant. Charles, with yourself now. You met in the same church, I take it, but how did you know about the church?
It was a friend as well. They said, you know, she said, "Oh, would you like to come to my church?" And I was a bit skeptical, but I did. I took the invitation.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I needed some form of help, you know, and so I took it upon myself to go.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got there, they kept mentioning about a chain of prayer and
as
so
well.
on. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but at first I was, you know, saying no, you know, I think, you know, it's like a deep cut. I didn't want to talk about my love life, you know. I just said no, I don't want to deal with it. But gradually, I took part in the chain of prayer. There was a love therapy, which was brilliant because it was like a healing, you know, very soothing. And gradually, I started thinking about my love life again.
Mm-hmm.
And the advisors just told me to take it one step at a time, which I did. So
now, both of you met in a meeting in the church, I take it, right?
Yes.
To do with relationships,
Yes.
right? To do with single people or married people wanting to find help.
Yes.
And that's where you met.
Yes.
And how long afterwards did you finally tie the knot?
2 years after.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't ask a man about
I saw your blank face there.
It was 2 years after.
Around
Yes,
2 years.
Yes.
Now
we
the thing
did.
is, when you got together and you got married, you basically, first of all, you were, when you liked each other, Charles, now I believe you learnt your lesson. Now you're getting to know things about Daisy and vice versa. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Because what happened at that time, I knew I told her about everything, how I felt, my plans, what I wanted, and we were able to talk about it, and which was better than previously because we had to plan. I knew where she's coming from, and she knew all the things I liked, and I knew what.
So he opened up and said everything about his past,
Everything.
which your
Yes.
first partner didn't do.
Yes.
So that was probably, this is a good sign,
Yes.
right?
Yes. I knew everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before we got married.
So you got to know,
Yes.
about the likes and dislikes. I'm sure you learned things while getting to know one another.
Yes.
But you tied the knot.
Yes.
But there were problems there as well.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Yes.
Briefly, quickly, tell us what were the problems.
For me, I think I was the one struggling with submission. And when I say submission, it's not meaning like the control or he want to control me.
Mm-hmm.
But because I was on my own for a long time, I would go out without saying anything. And it would be 9 o'clock, I'm outside. And when he kind of asked me, "Where are you?" I was like, "Why do you want to know?" It's like, I'm going to see my cousin, what's the big deal? But then I didn't realize that it's 9 o'clock.
In the evening.
In the evening, he doesn't know where I am. And I didn't see any problem with that. I
Right.
really didn't see any problem.
Well, he was now thinking of your safety.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I
So
didn't
those
see-
small issues
Yes.
you learned to kind of iron out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And those issues, like, yes, you won't have a well-being, but the issues that we can't iron out, we've always had to get answers from the advisors whenever we needed to. But we were able to iron those issues out, and it was quite good because we were able to talk about it, which I couldn't do in my previous relationship.
In a nutshell, quickly, how is marriage today?
It's beautiful.
Holding hands. All right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's very nice.
As usual, I'm finding out, can we get a kiss?
Oh.
Home in? There you go. All right. So there you have it. A beautiful story of this couple who are now happy today. Stay tuned because after the break, we're going to have love experts, James and Helena, who will be sharing information, 5 key points that every couple should know. We'll see you after this.
As a man, I understand the struggles men like me go through. They need to be strong always and not to show any weakness, even though it's there. To be a leader to our family, to our wife and kids, when we really wish someone else would show us the way. to choose what is right in a world of wrongs, to admit to our mistakes when our egos don't want us to be exposed, to learn to be a man when we're still only a boy inside. Being a man is not easy, but hard is also a part of being a man. We don't like anything easy. We want challenges. We want to prove that we can do it, that we are bigger than the problems staring us in the face. That's why we go to the moon, we climb the Everest, we sail around the world, and build fast cars. We like the feeling of accomplishment. And please don't ever tell us it can't be done. We will die trying. Being a man is not easy, but we wouldn't have it any other way. And yet, the true conquest of a man is not measured by his money, power, or fame. His greatest achievement is to overcome himself.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. So now we have love experts, James and Helena, with us in the studio. Welcome, guys.
Hi,
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So you're going to give us the top 5 tips that every couple should know.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so number 1 then is nobody ever wins an argument. Tell us about that.
Right. The idea with that is that if a couple starts an argument and they both start to lose their temper, raise their voices, the truth is that that argument usually, even when it ends, they don't reach a resolution to the problem. So the truth is that I think couples need to remember that if they start a fight, an argument, that's really not going to go anywhere. No one's going to win, and you're just going to resent each other for maybe some days. So the best thing is to try to keep it calm and have a normal discussion and try to reach to a solution to the problem.
Okay. Very good tip. Thank you very much. So tip number 2, learn to pay compliments to your partner.
Now, this one is very, very important because this is something that we, of course, all these points we came up with these points because it's something that we tend to do and it's been working for us. Mm-hmm. But this specific one is so important because I believe that the partner is supposed to be the number one fan of the husband or the wife or the girlfriend or whatever, because maybe you know exactly what the person goes through every day to achieve that specific thing. Maybe they work really hard. Forgive me. They work really hard. They have a challenging job, or maybe they had a challenging upbringing, and it's up to you as the wife or the partner to really cheer the person and say, you can do this, you're doing really well. And one of the reasons why men tend to go, I wouldn't say astray, if you know what I mean, like, he got chatting or flirting with someone else, is because he got compliments from other people and he doesn't have that at home. Yeah,
the man or the woman, it works both ways.
And I suppose that might become an issue. The longer you're with somebody, you might forget.
Yes.
Exactly.
I think sometimes after a certain period of time, you sort of forget how good that person is to you, how special, how valuable they are, and if you don't value that, you can end up losing it, of course.
Of course, good point. Number 3, never compare yourselves to other couples. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, and the reason behind that, Victoria, is because every couple's different, just like everybody's different, and just because a couple might be doing something, for example, something as simple as the sense of humor, right? I have a very dry sense of humor, right? But Elena gets my sense of humor.
It took me a while. But
yes, but she got there. So it's okay for us to have that banter, but it may not work with other couples, right? So another couple might hear me making a joke with Elena, and initially they didn't understand it's a joke because it was dry sense of humor, but it works for us. But then if they take that, if the guy says, well, let me try the joke with my wife, it may not work. So, but that's just an example to say that, you know, you may want to take some positive examples from other couples, but don't copy everything because what worked for them may not work for you.
Okay. Yes. And how long has it been working for you? How long have you two been married?
14 years.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
High five.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so next one. The truth is good, but it's all in the delivery. Explain that
yes,
one.
I'll talk about that one. You know, as a couple, you have to tell the truth. You know,
be honest.
Be honest. You know, open your heart to the person, and if you're going through something, you need to speak about it. You can't keep it, because it's going to end up. Well, there will be an explosion.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't talk about what the problem is. So we should all do that, but it's the whole communication thing. But we should be careful how we do it.
It's the old age question of, does my bum look big in this, right?
That's a tricky one.
You have to say, you have to be very careful, right? Because if you just say whatever comes to your head, even if it's the truth, you have to remember that if this person has issues with insecurity, whatever, and you just say whatever comes to your mind, you may end up hurting the person. So it's important to be honest, but it's how you are honest sometimes.
Yeah. You know, don't be over honest.
With certain things.
Yeah.
Okay, the final one then. It always gets better with time.
Yeah, and you know, this is something that for us, I think over the past 2 years, it's something that it's really been on my mind lately. Which a lot of people say, look, when you are initially in a relationship, it's really good, it's really nice, you're in that moment of, you know, passionate love, but then it starts to go downhill from there. And actually we found completely the opposite, that we've been together for 14 years, and the longer we've been together, the better our relationship's been, because we've now gone through all the kind of little problems and arguments we used to have in adapting to each other. So now that we got rid of all that, or most of it, right? We can now enjoy our relationship. We used to argue a lot in the beginning.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, we rarely...
It was really terrible.
Yeah. So we rarely have an argument or disagreement. So I think it's important for people to understand that as time goes by, if you really keep investing in the relationship, it always gets better and better and better.
And you don't take things so seriously, you know? Just take it easy. You know, enjoy the relationship, understand the other person. No one is perfect. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect.
I thought you were.
just joke. There's your compliment in there.
Just joke.
Yeah. He's trying to score points with me. You know what I mean, we have a scoring point system on. You know?
That should be tip number 6.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. That was
pleasure.
really interesting. So now let's go back to Michael with the prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer and include you in the Finding Answers prayer book, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray, my Lord, for this viewer who has found it hard to think that what they're going through, that there is a solution, there is an answer for them. Whether that's in their love life as Charles and Daisy, whether that's in a financial situation, maybe as the street interviewers answered about their health. Many people thought it was impossible to get a healing. My God, even if for the experts it's impossible, there's no cure, there's no answer. With you, all things are possible. So I pray, my God, no matter this situation, no matter how long it's been in their lives, I pray, my God, that the solution will come about tonight. And if this person just needs a sign, then let this glass of water be that sign. I don't know how, I don't know when, but Lord, I bless this water. And I determine that when they'll drink it, they will receive a sign. Maybe an idea, maybe that pain will disappear, maybe they're going to have a good night's sleep tonight. But I determine this water blessed. And may whatever is hard for them to contemplate, give them this answer, give them the solution. And may what seems impossible be made possible in their lives. Drink this water now because it is blessed. In the name of Jesus Christ. Well, there you have it. The impossible can be made possible. If you want, that we're going off air now, but if you want, you can still find out about the chain of prayer. If you want to start one, if you want to find out more information as the chain of prayer helped Charles and Daisy, then please give us a call. Our team of advisors will be there to answer your call. It's been a pleasure having you with us, and join me again for another live Finding Answers. Bye-bye.